So this morning we're on Genesis chapter 23. This is on the death and burial of Sarah. So I was thinking this is where we learn about Abraham's other wife, but then I got to thinking about it, and actually we learn about Abraham's other wife in Genesis chapter 25. It mentions his wife, and I think it's 5 or 6 kids that he had. Abraham dies quite a bit older than when he left his dad's home and his parents' home. He Waylon, can you help him there for a minute?
I need to make room for bed.
When he left his parents' home, or left, where he originally was from, he was 75 years old. And Abraham, as we'll learn in chapter, I believe it's 25, we'll learn that Abraham was 175. He lived another 100 years after that. So God had promised Abraham that he would die of a ripe old age. But Sarah died almost 50 years earlier. Sarah died when she was 127. To me, that's still a pretty good ripe old age. I don't expect to live that long. I'd be tickled if I lived for 80 years. Anyway, that being said, let's read the story and we'll see what. Basically, it's just a story of how he got the field, or the cave to bury his wife in. So we'll read about that. Now Sarah lived 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah. Sarah died in Kira Arba. That is Hebron. And I don't know why, but Hebron, they have different names for the same places sometimes. I don't know why they didn't just call it Hebron, but they called it Kirath Arba. And then they put it in parentheses, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Now, a lot of people fail to recognize something here. Well, once we get on over into, I believe it's in Leviticus, we will see that God has, basically, if they touch something that's unclean, or around something that's unclean, they are unclean. They are unholy. That's because death is, what is death?
Sin. It's the result of sin.
Yes, the result of sin. Death is unholy. It's unrighteous. We all die because of sin that we have had. Okay? We are born with a sin nature, no matter what. People try to deny that and say, one of my brothers told me the other day, we didn't inherit Adam's sin. But Paul makes it very plain in Romans that if we didn't inherit Adam's sin, then why do we die? And what about, and yes, we have the law that condemns us, but what about all the people that was born when there was no law? All those people still died. Paul says it's not attributed to them as sin, but they still died. Okay, the things they did before the law was given was not attributed to them as sin. Okay? Because sin is transgression of the law, right? Well, if there was no law, then there was no sin. Okay? But they still died. They had no sin, but they still died. So what sin did they have? Well, Paul says the only sin they could have had was the sin of Adam. Okay? Now, understand this. When someone died, Abraham mourned for that for several reasons. We cry when someone dies, first of all, because when my mom passed away, I cried. I realized, and as I cried, and I was sad, and I realized something, that I was crying out of, what would you call it? I was not jealous, selfish. I couldn't think of the word. I was crying out of selfishness. My mom was suffering, and I wanted her back. I didn't want her to be gone. I didn't want her to not be suffering anymore. I know that sounds mean, but the honest truth is I wanted what I wanted more than what she needed. Okay? And so that is selfishness, in all honesty. Especially when someone dies, and you know that they have trusted Christ and they were that their life, the things they said, the things they did, showed that they had the fruits of the Spirit within them. And then when they die, we cry because we are selfish. But we should also mourn because we realize something. We should mourn because we realize that they died because they had sinned. Because death is a curse. It came onto the world because of the sin of Adam. Okay, and everyone had it. And Abraham had spent, I don't know how many years, but probably close to 100 years with this woman. So he was kind of used to her by that time, probably. Anyway, so she died, and he goes in to mourn. It says, then Abraham rose from before his dead and spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner among you. Give me a burial site among you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. The son of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, Hear us, my lord. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our graves. None of us will refuse you his grave for burying your dead. So Abraham rose and bowed to the people of the land, the sons of Heth, and he spoke with them, saying, If it is your wish for me to bury my dead out of my sight, hear me. And approach Ephraim, the son of Zohar, for me, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, which is at the end of his field, for the full price. Let him give it to me in your presence for a burial site. Now Ephraim was sitting among the sons of Heth, and Ephraim the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the sons of Heth, even of all who went in at the gate of his city, saying, No, my lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it, in the presence of the sons of my people. I give it to you, bury your dead. And Abraham bowed before the people of the land. He spoke to Ephraim in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, If you will only please listen to me, I will give the price of the field. Accept it from me, that I may bury my dead there. Then Ephraim answered Abraham, saying to him, My lord, listen to me. A price of land worth a piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between me and you? So bury your dead. Abraham listened to Ephraim, and Abraham weighed out for Ephraim the silver which he had named, in the hearing of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, commercial standard. So Ephraim's field, which was in Machpelah, which faces Mamre, the field and cave which was in it, and all the trees which were in the field that were within all the confines of the border, were deeded over to Abraham for a possession, in the presence of the sons of Heth, before all who went in at the gate of his city. After this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field at Machpelah, facing Mamre, which is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So the field and cave that is in it were deeded over to Abraham for a burial site by the sons of Heth. Now, I've often wondered, that's the end of that chapter. I've often wondered, they offered just to give it to him, right? Hey, it's yours. Go use it. No big deal. I've often wondered why Abraham was I mean, he was very insistent that he had to pay for this burial site. Later on, way later on from now, when the children of Israel, they become slaves and they're in Egypt, but when they come back to the land of Canaan, they bury Joseph there. And when Joseph's dad dies, okay, Jacob, Israel, they're in the land of Egypt at that time, and they go all the way back to this to bury him in there with Abraham and all them. And then when they came back, Joseph was buried there with them. They kept his bones all that time for the purpose of burying him. I mean, he carried those with him all the way back to the land of Canaan. I would say they kept them, saved them, stored them for 400 years or better.
Yeah.
But so why did Abraham? Any ideas? Why did Abraham want to for sure make sure that he owned this, that he wasn't just using someone else's land or someone else's cave? I mean, when he was his cattle were out there, his sheep or goats or whatever he had, all his livestock were obviously using the grass. Of course, they were fertilizing the ground too, but they were eating. I mean, he was just using the land. He didn't own it. God had promised him that he would own it one day. But why was he so? Any thoughts on that? Why did Abraham want to make sure that he owned it?
So he didn't own no one.
That's a thought. I don't know why. That's why I'm asking. I really don't have any idea. Maybe that so he doesn't owe anyone. One of the thoughts that went through my head, Don, you gotta be quiet, okay? One of the thoughts that went through my head was, is he worried that if he doesn't own it, maybe they can come and steal the body, or maybe they'll bury their dead in there with her, or and he didn't want to bury his wife in with a bunch of other people, or I don't know. Does he want to make sure that he can, that no one can come and take her, or no one can bury their dead in with it? I don't know. I know it became a grave. That cave became a grave. Abraham was, once we'll get further on, Abraham was buried there. Isaac and Jacob and Joseph were all buried there. I don't think Esau was, or if he was, we don't know about it. But I don't know for sure why. It was used more later on, or they buried other people.
You don't know how much 400 shekels of silver is?
I don't know how much 400 shekels of silver is, other than that it's 400 shekels. I guess it's 400 pieces, or I don't know how much a shekel is, how much.
I was curious if it said it in the notes or something.
Oh, I don't know. Did any of you look?
No. I did. They don't say.
They don't say. Shekels of silver, commercial standard. Precious metals were not made into coins for exchange until centuries later. Merchants maintained the shekel as the standard weight of value for business transactions. A shekel weighed less than 1/2 ounce. People, so since we're talking about a shekel, what makes a coin or a dollar bill worth anything?
Blocks of gold we have.
Huh?
Blocks of gold we have.
In all honesty, the silver and the pennies and all that, we've taken all the silver out and all the zinc out and we've taken all the value out of it. It's just chunks of metal. But supposedly there's gold, I don't know if that's true or not, in the Federal Reserve that makes that worth something.
Yeah.
But my point in this is, we have for years, something is only worth something because people want it. People, for centuries, we have used precious, like what we call precious metals, silver and gold and gemstones and stuff like that. Something that's shiny, that appeals to the eye. We have been using that for money for years. There was this guy one time who decided that he was going to make a money system, and he cut little pieces of stick. They used those little pieces of stick as money. Money can be anything that you decide you want to use for money. I'm not sure exactly how the sticks were valuable to them, but in all honesty, if you stop and think about it, the stick is really just as valuable as a piece of gold. It's just not as shiny. Of course, the stick might rot sooner, but eventually, I mean, none of it is going to be of any value. It's all going to rust. It's all going to tarnish. It won't be around forever. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So we spend our lives working to earn something that we can't take with us. People work their whole lives to pay for a home. They go way deep in debt and pay thousands and thousands of dollars in interest for some of these big fancy pickups that eventually are just going to wear out. They're going to rust. And we do that, literally, a lot of people don't realize this, but we do that so that people will look at us and say, wow, look what he has. We wash our vehicles and shine them up and make them look fancy and try to paint our houses nice and keep our yards real fancy and nice so people will drive by and go, wow, he's got a nice place, or he's got a nice car, or something like that. We do it, and when we're doing that, that doesn't bring glory to God. Who does it bring glory to?
Self.
Brings glory to ourselves, doesn't it? And literally what we're doing is we're stealing glory from God. The way God created Adam and Eve to start with, he created them God-centered. But in the fall, we became self-centered. Okay? It become about us. And so, anytime that like that guy, he had a field, but he was willing to part with it for the right amount of pieces of shiny silver. Those pieces of silver were just shiny pieces of metal. Yeah. All right. Anybody else got anything to say about that? Oh wow, man, we are a quiet bunch this morning.
You say that every morning.
I do?
You do.
Well, y'all are quiet all the time, I guess. I wish you'd work this quiet when I'm trying to take a nap.
That's little kids.
Whatever, you come running in last night and slammed the door and woke Dad up.
Huh?
Wow, I laid down and take a nap.
Yeah.
You come in and slammed that door and went off running. I was like, wow, what happened?
You came running in
Somebody
first.
coming after him or something?
Came in the other door.
I was running after him.
I threw a piece of cork, a round piece of cork at his face.
Yeah, hit me right here in the lip. It hurt.
Alrighty then. See all this brotherly love. Maybe we need to do a Bible study on brotherly love.
It was. We got everything situated. I kicked his butt for him.
Yeah, well.
So you think kicking his tail makes it called brotherly love?
And yeah, figured out his boss.
Oh, okay. Well, see
Let's
how you
just-
feel
let's
about
pray.
that. Did you figure out who's boss?
Oh, let's pray.
And changing the subject on you.
Alright, let's close in prayer and we'll get our day started. Father God, thank you for this day, Lord. I thank you for your love, for your Son who died for us, Lord. Thank you for your word. Father, I thank you for this family that you've given me. Lord, I pray that you be with us. Lord, help me to be an example to them. Lord, I pray that you would help us to learn your words, Lord, that we would not just be hearers, but doers of your words. Lord, I just ask that you go with us today. Help us to get the things that we need to do. whatever we say and do would bring glory to you, not to ourselves. Lord, I want to pray for the preaching that is coming up in a few weeks while we're preaching. I pray, Father, that your will would be done. Lord, that you would touch the hearts of those who will be listening. Lord, that you would speak through me. Lord, that your Holy Spirit would be there and that you would reach the hearts. Lord, that your will would be done and that we would accept that and be thankful for that. Lord, I just ask that you help us to get done the things we need to do. Give us where we fell.